Welcome in, welcome in. What in the world is going on? Manhunt in this Brown University. What in the world is going on? Brown University, as we talked about this last night. Kyrock, welcome in, welcome in. What in the world's going on, Mike? Merry Christmas, everybody. Lemon J, thank you. We're going to continue to cover this ongoing manhunt at Brown University. What we know at this hour, new suspect, new video out there, and Rob Reiner, we know now, was murdered by his son. As last night we were watching it, it was very sloppy investigation in LA. They now came out, the FBI chief police, LA, says Rob Reiner was murdered by his son. They had some problems. We're going to talk about that, the problems him and his son and the mom had as he was going through a drug addiction and lost it. And I don't know how anybody can do that. This world's so upside down. It's always been that way. People, we got to work on that mental illness. But, I got to continue to say we're going to follow from last night and this break-in overnight as they had the wrong suspect. And now they're saying they have more video surveillance, and they're asking the public with a $50,000 reward to turn this new suspect in. Uncle Charlie, hello, Mike, hello, moderators. So we're going to turn the camera around and listen here. Guys, I don't favor any news station. I just get what's out there and what's, on this. It's not any kind of politics. Tonight we were listening to CNN. I don't think it matters, but we're going to find out what we learned here about the shooting that happened on Saturday at Final Exam. So let's listen in what they have and what we're seeing. Good evening, Whiskey Tango, and then we'll discuss and for a little bit. Let's turn the camera around and what we know here. Sloppy investigation. Welcoming Crystal Richmond, our loyal subscriber and moderator. All right, let's get some volume on here, and then we're gonna.
Of Providence acknowledged that authorities have no way of knowing if the shooter is still in the area or has left the state.
We know that this is likely to cause fresh anxiety for our community, and we want to reiterate what we said earlier, which remains true, which is ever since the initial call, now a day and a half ago, we have not received any credible or specific threats to the Providence community.
All right, 2 students were killed, at least 9 others injured in the attack, which happened Saturday afternoon in a Principles of Economics review session.
So we continue to see this. Apparently, all in black, walking around.
Surveillance footage shows someone who the police believe is the gunman wearing dark clothing, leaving the university building where it has happened. Again, that's the street that we're standing on right now, Hope Street. Seeing as Brian Todd is here with me with this breaking news, was just so radically changes the situation here at Brown this morning. Brian, what are you learning?
It is extraordinary, John.
I want to bring everybody up to date for those who might not have heard, and then we'll go ahead and discuss because a lot of viewers might be coming on a little bit confused. We're going to cover 2 stories. Of course, we're going to cover a little bit of Rob Reiner, who was in Archie Bunker. We all know Archie Bunker. This was a situation where a gunman, they're saying could be in his 30s, who they were in their final exams. It happened on Saturday, approximately around 2-3 o'clock in Brown University. The shooter went in there and took 2 people's life. 8 were critical. 1 was released. Now, this happened. Now, last night, Sunday, they had a man who fit the image. Now, in the chat, do you think they released the same guy and are just watching him? But they released him, and now they're saying there's new evidence on a brand new suspect. So that guy sat in, he got interrogated for almost the whole Sunday, and he ended up being innocent. The evidence didn't lead his way, Barbara. Hello. So then they released him late last night. We did a live. They released him, and now a manhunt is on with a $50,000 reward. So if you live in the Providence area and you see this guy or know of anything, call the hotline and make sure you get that reward. But most important than the reward, get this person off the street. I'm going to open up the chat. Do you think, yes or no, this guy is in that area within a 5-10 mile range, or did he just take off? Now, 95 is a highway that goes, south and north. He could have easily had this all planned. I think he had it planned. That's my opinion. He could have had this all planned, played it very, very methodical, and took off. So pay along with this, with a donation. Thank you so much. Mike thinks he's gone. And so we'll open up the chat because, he could be in that area or he could have flew. When I say flew, just flew the scene. He could be in New York. He could be, Connecticut. He could be in Philadelphia. But the manhunt is on, $50,000 reward. Terrible, terrible, sloppy, as on my title. My opinion, very sloppy. This wasn't somebody who robbed a Starbucks or a 7-Eleven. You know what I mean? They had this guy, the FBI, the police. They were confident they had their man and then released him. And now the manhunt's on for a new suspect. And what this does for the community and what this says about our police force. Look, they are human. Mistakes happen. Maybe I'm being too hard, but you're talking about a mass shooting. Mass shooting. 2 people lost their lives and many, many, many injured and many affected from this situation where some of these young students will never be the same. Let's listen in what we have here.
Of events where this person of interest, by the way, regarding whom they had gathered a lot of evidence. We were there all
lot of
evidence at that hotel in Coventry when they were processing evidence for that person. Now is released. The decision as to why they released it, the police chief Oscar Perez did speak about that. Here is some of what the police chief said about basically how they came to this decision last night.
This was a very complex investigation, and it's
complex. Very complex.
And we followed on the specific lead. We were able to examine every single evidence that led us to this individual. And at that point, that's how investigations work. Investigations will tell us whether something is valid or not, whether something needs to be ruled out. It's not a mistake. It's just how investigations work.
And a couple of extraordinary things here, John. Number one, the mayor, Brent Smiley, saying last night they have no way of knowing whether the gunman is in the community or even in the state. And yet they're saying that there is no credible or no immediate threat to the community, and there's no need for a lockdown or no need for a shelter in place. Those two things may seem kind of incongruous here as this investigation continues. So,
a lot of snow there. I disagree with the panel here. They say there's no threat. So a couple things that come to my head. If they're confident there's no threat, then they're not telling us everything, and they probably don't have, they don't have to, because they don't want to tell us too much. But then again, they want the public's help, right? $50,000 reward. If you're just coming in, we're covering this gunman who a deadly Brown University shooting still in large after a person of interest was released. But, if he's in that, they don't know. Let's just say for conversation, Mustang, welcome in. If they're not sure, it is a threat, because if he's in that community and people are out, there's some snow there and kids are off for school for Christmas break, maybe, I don't know for sure. People are walking their dogs or whatever it is, that's a threat. Now, a lot of people are coming on here, I'm not worried about it. I'm protecting myself. I get it. But it's a threat. It's worry. It worries. We have enough problems, particularly in that area in Providence. So either two things are happening here. The police department know for sure he's gone and it contacted other states and authorities, or B, they just want everybody, they don't want any panic. They don't want any panic. What's your thoughts? I mean, this is crazy. I don't think I recall an incident where they had somebody, I talked about this last night, but for those that I don't remember any time they had a person in custody. I've seen it, people in custody for an hour, maybe an hour and a half to 2, and then release them. But to have somebody and then hammer this guy and have the wrong guy release them, And now the manhunt starts all over. So that tells me they don't have much to go on. And that $50,000 reward, I have this feeling by tomorrow will be $100,000 or $75,000. And, you know, you hope that they catch this guy. This was a tragedy. We had a lot of hey, real quickly, shout out to the moderators for being in here. Thank you so much for keeping the channel safe. Also, prayers in Australia. I think it was 15 people lost their life yesterday. We had all this going on, and then, of course, our prayers with the Rob Reiner family. You know, I don't care what if they're Democrat, Republican. We don't have hate. You know, if he was a Democrat, it doesn't matter. You know, this was a man who was, a director. He was in All in the Family. Meathead, great actor, smart man. They shouldn't be talking about Republican and Democrat. That bothers me right there. And as you can see, we have the flag. I'm a Trump. So it doesn't matter. You know, this was a person who was murdered by his own family, his son. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, and his wife as well. And that's an ongoing situation because last night they said they weren't sure. Now they know it was his son. And so we have that to talk about as well. This is some crazy, this stuff, guys, is happening on Hanukkah and Christmas, and families got to deal with this. It doesn't matter who they are, whether they're wealthy, living in Hollywood, California, or all the way in Providence. These are people affected, and we still have these wacky, crazy people out there. And it bothers me when you have FBI, police force making errors, because you can make an error in Starbucks, McDonald's, but when you're in the police department, and FBI, and governor, mayor, those mistakes should not happen. And now you got a person on the loose, and finally they said it was the son as far as the Rob Reiner. We're going to go back and forth on this. Let's listen in a little bit more on what we possibly know. The manhunt's on. It's late there. It's cold. It's snowy, or snows on the ground. And some of you in the chat think he's gone. Could he flew to another state, or is he right there? Now sometimes, remember that the Boston Marathon, where they found a guy in a boat in Boston or in that area? Sometimes they're still there. They're hiding in somebody's vacant home, or in a boat. So he could very well be in that area. He very well could be in that area. Let's listen a little bit more to our newscast here as the manhunt is on.
We have to dig on this.
It was the Boston Marathon. Thank you for somebody listening. Thank you.
It's extraordinary that they're saying they have no way of knowing whether this person is in the state or not. I think another question that we have to kind of dig on here that they're not giving a lot of answers to is the surveillance footage.
Black, or Hispanic, we don't know.
One piece of footage of the guy going around the corner. They did say there was very little or no footage from inside the building from that moment. So we have to kind of figure out, or hopefully the authorities will give us some clues as to whether there's more surveillance footage.
We just don't know what they have at this point, or where they even begin. One thing that we should make clear, they never publicly stated the name of this person of interest. This was something that was developed by CNN and other outlets via sources from inside there. But they were careful throughout the day about releasing information, but it turned out they just don't feel like they had the right guy. I'm Brian Todd. Great reporting on this. Obviously, a lot more to do. Thank you very much. With us now, CNN law enforcement analyst Jonathan Wackrow. Jonathan, great to see you this morning. Let's start with where we are and where we're going. So what now? I mean, after you have a person of interest in custody, you develop all this kind of evidence on that person, but it turns out you now believe he's not connected. What do you do?
Yeah, well, John, listen to that sigh of relief that authorities had announced when they stated that they had a person of interest in custody has really been replaced by this sobering reset.
Have you seen this guy? Anybody in the chat is from that area, Providence area? Because this is all we have to go on. Some are saying in the chat, is he African American, Hispanic, white? All they know, all they're telling us is it's a man and dressed in black. There's some other video surveillance that came out today. You see it on my screenshot there, and that's it. So bring everybody up to date. They had somebody in custody. The evidence went another direction. I guess either he had an alibi or there was no evidence. And now all of a sudden, they're still pretty confident, ladies and gentlemen, that this is the person. This is the guy. This is a man. Or they think it's a man, but he's covered up. For me, guys, only my opinion real quick, if I could. I feel that he knew there was only one camera. He's certainly covered up. He knew that there wasn't any other cameras. He probably didn't see, here's the deal though. Why isn't there any Ring doorbell? Those Ring doorbell cameras. He couldn't figure all that out, could he? And none of the homes in that area, I'm sure the police department is asking, knocking on the door, hey, and get everybody's Ring doorbell. To me, lucky. Yes or no? Did he get lucky? A month? Some reports are saying he could be a teacher, a professor. He could be a teacher. He could be a teacher. Now, here in Las Vegas, where I live, they had a situation when UNLV, a college here, that it was a former, well, it wasn't a former, it was somebody who tried to be a professor in UNLV and was let go, and he came all the way from North Carolina, and he took out students in UNLV. So, it could be, but we simply don't know. But there's a reward of $50,000. Once again, a new suspect in a Brown University. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I can't remember. I could be wrong. Maybe somebody can help me out in the chat. Does anybody remember a situation where they had somebody, and hey, shout out to Adrian.
In the entire investigation. And the reality is it brings investigators back to square one. They have no suspect in custody, and really they're not even intimating that they have somebody that they're even looking at. And the challenge is that as time goes on, this investigation gets significantly harder. So this is a really hard reset, going back to almost square one, where they have to go.
This is the map. This is pretty cool on how they highlighted. That's Governor Street. Hope Street there is where the incident took place. There's Brown University. There's Prince Engineer Laboratory. And there's a fitness center over there above. Of course, this is Google Earth from Providence, Rhode Island, where this happened on Saturday. I guess about 2-3 o'clock. And once again, for me, sloppy police work.
Go back and reassess every single lead that they had, right in the aftermath of the shooting, going back to reassessing all of the ballistic evidence, all of the digital leads, to the point that Brian Todd was making just a moment ago. They have to go back through that surveillance video and dig deeper. They have to dig deeper into the neighborhood, into the community, and anything that will give us a better image of who
Manhunt's on
potentially is and where they're going. So again, there is a monumental task ahead with a lot of challenges around time, distance, and resources that are up against law enforcement investigators this morning.
Hello?
This is Evil Bill with Big Bank. You didn't pay your debts and you owe us money.
Sorry, I'm struggling. I want to pay, but I can't.
Once again, sad news in Providence there over the weekend. As for those who are coming in a little later on this live, first of all, thank you so much. If you can do the channel a big favor and hit the like if you enjoy the content. Thank you so much. We're going to listen a little bit more on the latest reports that we have on this ongoing mass shooting that happened over the weekend on Saturday. I appreciate everybody being here. We covered this last night, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Rob Reiner.
Loose right now. They have no one in custody.
So there's no one in custody. So they originally had somebody in custody. Now there's no one in custody. The police has had a major manhunt in that area. There's a $50,000 reward for somebody calling in 911 leading into the investigation. I have a feeling that's going to go up to about My gut feeling will be 100,000, maybe 200,000, but let's hope it doesn't go that far to catch them. Now, we've seen situations in the Boston Marathon where they found somebody there in a boat. Remember, a guy goes, somebody's moving there, and he was right there in that area, in that area where it happened, if I remember right. But, and I know other situations. There was something in Pennsylvania where a guy escaped prison. It took about a week, and they found him in the farms. So it very well could be in that area. Now, I don't know if it was luck or this man, they're saying it's a man, knew that there was only one street camera, all covered up, or was he lucky? Was he just lucky? Because, and I also mentioned about 10 minutes ago, why there's no other video surveillance. There's one other angle, but nothing else. And no one there was walking. Nobody walking the dog. Nobody, it was cold there, but nobody seen this individual. So I'm sure they're working on that. I'm being hard on the police department, but so what? These are 2 people who lost their life. 9 people were shot, injured, right? And a lot of these students will never be the same. They're going to need therapy, and the police and FBI just don't know and have the wrong person. Now, let's talk about that if we could for about a minute. Imagine you, me, or a family member fitting the image of this man in black, spending hours going through interrogations, hammering you, you were there, and here you are, you're innocent. You're just fitting his height, and you're innocent. Give me a lawyer. Let me go. I'm innocent. He missed his Sunday. So there, and I'm not big into lawsuits unless you're really, something happens. Absolutely. But this is a major lawsuit. Major lawsuit. That's my opinion. It's sloppy. Now, it could just be, maybe, I don't think, but it could be the man they had, and they need more evidence. But again, I like to back up because they would think of anything to hold that guy. If they say, well, we need a little bit more evidence, prints and all, well, I'm sure this guy had some kind of parking, something. They would have had him there. So I would say is 90% that they had the wrong guy. 90%. Once again, police released a man detained in Brown University. Shooting happened Saturday about 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon in Providence time, and they were there for the final exam. Boy, it's cold in Vegas, man. Woo! It's winter time. Thank you so much for being here. We're also going to switch and talk about Rob Reiner. A lot of yous, I knew the name, but I forgot who he was. But he was in All in the Family as Meathead. He also played a part. He was a liberal in All in the Family. He was also a Democrat till now, to his death. But, on this channel, we don't, if somebody loses their life, for me, you draw politics out. This is a man who had kids. I believe he had 3, and one was his son, approximately 32 years old, I believe. I could be off by a year, who decided to take out his mom and dad. He was he was on drugs, in and out of drug rehabs. In fact, Rob Reiner was going to do a Netflix or a movie based on his son as he suffered from drug addiction and turned himself around and doing well, but evidently he wasn't doing well to take out his father. That was sloppy last night too. A lot of us, hey, by the way, thank you for the live last night. We had 40,000 viewers. We picked up about 20, 30 subscribers. Thank you all on that break-in live we did last night. And thank you for the moderators for being here last night. And thank you for certainly being here tonight. I'm going to read some messages here on both incidents. So be free to voice your opinion. We're covering the Brown University and Rob Reiner. Meathead on All in the Family, and Archie Bunker not sitting in the seat, and you heard a lot of politics back then in the 70s in that show. One of my favorite shows. You hear me talk about it a lot. I watch it almost every night. I love it. All right. Thank you, Lemon J. All right. Appreciate you guys being here. Now, what's your thoughts on? Well, let's do this. What's your thoughts on a Rob Reiner, on the fact that his son did this? He is now, and he was in custody last night, although they came out, the police, and said no, they weren't sure. What's your thoughts? So Patrick, thank you for your comment. What was the Rob Reiner tweet? I didn't say. So Rob Reiner, who starred as Meathead in All in the Family, was also a director, and who was a pretty good director according to. He's one of the top. He was 78 years young. He was he was stabbed from his son and his wife in their mansion home in LA last night, and news came out that originally he was murdered by his son from People's Magazine, and then it was stopped and paused, and the police came on, did a press conference. No, we don't know that, but the whole time they had his son, I believe he was 30 years old, I forget his name, who did this. How can anybody hate and take out your own parents? It's one thing not liking your parents for whatever reason, but to actually go that far. But this is what drugs do, and mental illness, and we got to do much more on that. But that's a whole nother topic and live stream that we can do on. I'll read some more comments here. I'm going to get some water. That's what all these drugs do, ladies and gentlemen. And if you know anybody or yourself that's suffering, remember this: only you can make the difference. If you're suffering from any mental distress or illness, or in taking this stuff, is to get help. There's help out there, and only you can make that change. That goes for anything: alcohol abuse, anything that you're suffering from. You got to make that choice. Nobody's gonna. It comes down to get the help that's out there. Do a lot of free. Had to see. Somebody 78 years old, a father who's got 2 other kids, and now he's not here. He's not here for the holidays. All right, I'm going to pull out some more comments here, and then we're going to listen a little bit more. We'll go back and forth. We're going to go back to the Brown University. Once again, the manhunt's on. Let's see here, Barbara. And Barbara, thank you for that membership and continuing your membership. The police still lie or forget details more instead or less. I just think, look, and I'm being hard, but I just think sometimes with the media, and they want that response, so quickly, like on this, let's talk about the Brown, and I think they're in a hurry. They will never admit this. And they, and I think instead of taking a deep breath, they're human too. And make errors. And I'm not saying anybody should be fired or dismissed, but they definitely should be called out and investigate and prevent this from going forward. Now, very well could be tomorrow, even tonight, or even doing this live, they could find the right suspect, and that's great. But still, we can't remember capturing the wrong person. So, you're going to have some times where the police is dead on, right? FBI and all the cash patrol, we applaud. Probably a higher percentage of the time, maybe 85% of the time, but then there's that 15% of the time where it fails, and I think they definitely failed in the Providence. And I also think they rushed on Reiner last night. I think they didn't have to have a press conference. They probably should have took a deep breath on a Rob Reiner and said, whoa. Let's not point out his son yet. Let's make sure we go through the investigation and then come out later on that night or today. So I think sometimes the media draws that, with all the, social media we have, and they want to respond. That's the only thing that comes to my head. All right, I'm going to read a couple more comments, and we're going to go back and listen. Hey, thank you so much for joining us on this live. I appreciate the 40 likes and 244 in the chat. Kai Rock, and once again, thank you for your membership. Let's read Kai Rock's message here, if I could. Can't the police identify the shooter by looking on the serial number or bullets casting of the gun? That's a great comment. Yeah, you would think so. You would think so, my loyal subscriber moderator. Yeah, I agree with that. Great comment, actually. So you would think they could or would, right? So I don't know. You know, it's just kind of bizarre. It feels like sometimes we live in a twilight zone, and maybe sometimes I'll say me, we're just hard on the authorities. But yeah. Weird that people think Trump supporters are dumb. Yeah, it's very strange. You know, and as far as the politics go, to your comment, you're right. But, you know, it goes on both sides, too. Because I did hear friends of mine today saying, oh, you know, meathead, Rob Reiner was a Democrat. And that bothered me. And I spoke my ground. And I'm conservative. And I'm a Trump supporter, as you see. But that bothered me. So what? So why? He was a human being. He was a human being who lost his life. So that should be the last thing that we should talk about when somebody loses their life. Of course, you know, well, I wasn't going to bring it up, but I will. Charlie Kirk, we heard what's going on with that. You know, right away, a lot of people didn't like him. May he rest in peace. We're still calling him out. So, you know, both sides, I say sometimes we just got to look ourselves and say, you know what? Let's pray for the family members. No matter if you support them, don't know who they are. These tragedies should not happen. It should not happen. All right, let's go on and listen. There's a little bit left of this report as a manhunt is on. Let's go ahead and turn the camera around one more time if we could and listen in what we got here.
I think the atmosphere on campus yesterday was this sigh of relief that they had someone, people felt safer. You know, I'm standing right on the street. That is the crime scene right behind me. No police cars within view. Some police tape there, though, right now. How
Kathy, thank you for that great comment.
This city.
Well, listen, this is the challenge for public safety officials right now and university officials. What they must do is they must act on facts, not fear, while trying to keep the city functioning as they move this investigation forward. We said early on that there were a lot of indications that this attacker in this incident was a targeted attack against someone or the university in and itself. With that as the context and laid out by a lot of the attack dynamics, the fact that the students aren't there reduces that target profile. So our officials worried with real-time intelligence that there will be a secondary attack to that location or the city at large. Right now, they're not even indicating that they have any of that information. But the reality is that they need to
very sloppy, folks. Very sloppy.
Precision,
very sloppy
in terms of what they're going to do with this investigation, not paralysis around what are the how do they just lock everything down. Time has gone by now. We haven't seen any indication of a secondary threat or a targeted group that's working together. So with that in mind, investigators really have to move quickly through all of the evidence that they do have to ensure that they identify a suspect.
But he's right.
Bring that suspect into custody quickly.
He's right, the panel there. More time that goes by, back to the Brown University, more time that goes by in the Brown University, we're going to switch back, and it's not good. It's not good for closure. As a man, could simply be in another state and could do this again, tomorrow, next week, it'll get caught. But the longer and more time goes by, then it gets harder and harder for the authorities to find them. So, and I'm sure they're working hard, and I'm being a little hard, but I just don't like that they're in such of a hurry and bringing in somebody. And I'm also still shocked that we seen with Luigi Mangione, out in New York, a lot of the times today with all the cell phones, beautiful, clear, 4K and all these phones, that not one person had anything. I guess you could say, well, Sal, it was cold, people wear ski masks, not going to think about it. Maybe, but, and you see how he was walking, very slow, covered up. I don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And he probably had a car nearby. What do you think? Yes or no? In the chat. What I'm talking about is the gunman in the University of Brown. He probably walked and finally got in his car. You know, sometimes it's not that complicated. Sometimes it's not complicated. Got in his car, looked in the rearview mirror, kept the mask on, can see through the eyes. All right, let's go slow. You know, let's get out of here. Get on the highway, pick up the speed, keep the speed limit. You know, head to New York or somewhere else, hide out. Could be that easy, you know. A lot of times I think they make it more complicated than it is. Or he's hiding out in somebody's home, a friend or somebody like that. So, what's your thoughts? Oh, what do I think about Charlie Kirk? May he rest in peace. What more can I say? That was another horrific assassination based on political beliefs and religion beliefs that should never happen. But unfortunately, I hate to think this way. We're going to see more of it. You know, let's hope we don't. Let's pray we don't. But unfortunately, it's the way this world is. And the world's upside down on both sides. And I think people have to take their politics. In my opinion, I am a Trump supporter. You got to take your politics aside sometimes, you know, and if you don't want to hear Charlie Kirk or hear anybody, then turn the channel, you know, so. Rob Reiner, though, we could talk about it. You know, All in the Family, for those who are young in here, was a show that was on, a running series that was amazing. Had laughs, and they talked a lot about politics back then. It was fun, and race, and blacks, and Italians, and it's a show now that probably would not be on TV because people would take that, you know, so seriously, and it would happen. But back then, it wasn't as complicated, you know, as politics is now. But he was a good actor, great actor, funny. I wasn't even sure it was him, you know. I knew, wait a minute, and then I looked it up. I'm like, oh, that's Meathead. They used to call him Meathead. We also got to remember, this is hard for a lot of people. You know, this is hard for all universities, all colleges, state, all colleges. These kids, you know, we were young. You're going to school. You got a lot of stress, final exams. You know, all these people, all these kids now are trying to hope that they do well. And they originally think they had the suspect, and they're like, okay, they got the suspect. We'll have a Christmas break. You know, we'll get back. We'll get some therapy, whatever it might be. And then here we are on a Monday, and we're talking live, and the suspects could be out there nearby or escaped. And other states and colleges, you know, you got to understand, they got to go to school when Christmas break's over, wondering, you know, is this guy going to come into the university? Now, a lot of people like are over 40, 50, don't worry about it. Just go. But it's scary. It's scary for all of us. You know, when you have somebody that's out in the loose as a manhunt is on and they had the wrong suspect. So it's right before Christmas. You know, holidays and Christmas right here. Very sad. And once again, the Australia situation was very sad. Hey, you know, that guy, if you didn't see it, we can find it if you want, in Australia, big guy, who took the guy down. Could have been more people. I think 15 people lost their life in Australia. That happened yesterday as well. A lot of stuff was happening over the weekend. It's crazy on how you have all these shootings, and whether it's Australia and 2 in the United States here. But man, big guy just took him down. Got injured, but he saved a lot more people from losing their life in Australia on the beach yesterday. That was another story we discussed a little bit yesterday. Hey, welcome into the chat. Thank you for being here, all 208 of you. Thank you, moderators, once again. Once again, I'm Sal. If you're new to the channel, certainly like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. I appreciate it. Once again, tell us a little bit about our channel. We're covering a whole lot of top news right now. And also we help out the homeless. We have shorts on every day. I want to talk about the homeless if I could real quick. There was a couple today that we did, husband and wife, who lost their home, and it was sad, but it was actually a little funny because I gave a couple bucks, and the husband, and then the wife took the money, just like all the women. They take the husband's money, right? But had some bad times out on the street before Christmas, and I was able to go back to them and talk to them. They packed things up and gave them a hotline, gave them some information, and they went into a nonprofit. So at least that's 2 people that are off the streets in Las Vegas, and more like that. So I will bring you up to date to Miss Sherry. If those who've been following Sherry who wanted to go to California, I haven't seen her, and that doesn't mean she's not around anymore. It could just be that she got some help. Hey, thank you for sending. Shout out to Mark Anthony, loyal subscriber, for a little happy poop and donating today's live stream. We thank you. We thank you pretty much. Appreciate all of you and all your support to continue to do the homeless and forward that money to off to the homeless people. It's a beautiful thing when we can do that. So thank you so much. And let's see here who I missed here. But thank you for those who are supporting today's live. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it on behalf of me and my wife. So the FBI got it wrong again. Yeah, it looks like it. Mm-hmm. The FBI got it wrong. Actually, well, they got it wrong in Brown University. They were not prepared with Rob Reiner in L.A. So, Mark Anthony, thank you, my friend. God bless you. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to you. I appreciate it. Brazil, all the way from Brazil. What's happening in Brazil? What's going on in Brazil? Thank you for being here all the way from Brazil. Brazil has, it happens in a lot of countries, these mass shootings, unfortunately. All right, January 6th pipe bomber. Did he get that right? Yes, they did. But like they were just talking about on the news outlet CNN, that panel was right. Sometimes they got to, I think he said, get the facts before they rush into it. And they rushed into it in the mass shooting in Brown University. Dustin Nunez, longtime subscriber. Shout out to Dustin. Good to see you, my friend. All right, I'm going to pull some more comments. Shout out to Ireland. All the way from Ireland, supporting, coming on live. Beautiful Ireland. Appreciate all of you in the United States, in Ireland, and all over the world. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's listen. Should we listen in a few more minutes left what the panel has to say on this search? Let's see what else we have here, and then we'll go ahead and discuss a little bit more.
The authorities said they had no idea if the person was in the city or even in the state. At this point, 36 hours after the incident, how far afield could the suspect be?
How far can he be, guys?
Again, immediately the shooter created that time and distance by evading police in the moments after the attack. And so the challenge for law enforcement is they allowed for potentially physical evidence to degrade. You look at digital signals will also go cold. And as they go back to re-interview witnesses, who many of which have now gone home for the holidays, the memories start fading. Those details that are really
exactly, Mark Anthony. You would think so. You would think. Well, I'll just read a comment. You would think they would have street cameras with the plate. That's actually a great comment there. Great comment. You would think, right? If indeed there was a car. I'm saying there was a car, but you would think they would have a plate.
Important in the aftermath of an incident.
Interesting.
Around, maybe the
great comment.
A particular gate that the person walked in, or the way that they comported themselves as they were walking through a hallway or out on the street. They start losing that fidelity. So it puts
Let's see here. I'm gonna read a comment. It was Robert. Let's see what Robert. Well, first of all, Robert, thank you for your comment. They didn't get it wrong, according to Robert. They worked a lead from Providence PD, detained the person, okay, then released him. The leak, if it's his name, is not consequential. Maybe. Barber, I think it was Bolivia. German police that stopped 5 men from driving into the crowds at a Christmas market yesterday too. Yeah, I think we heard some. So much stuff is happening. Right before the holidays, it's just crazy. Yeah, I'm going back to Robert. Yeah, it's possible. I just think that it's just my opinion. I think sometimes they're human. They rush into things and hoping and confident that they have the right person, and they're wrong, and now you have a suspect who's saying, that I'm sure they're watching. And here's another thing too. If he had a cell phone that was on, the suspect that we see in black, all dressed in black, if he had a cell phone that was on, don't they ping where he's at, within the feet and miles? But I guess if his cell phone was turned off, I appreciate you guys being here tonight on a Monday, getting close to Christmas. I guess if his phone's off, I'm not sure. Can anybody in the chat, if your cell phone's off, then they can't ping it anywhere? I would say no, right? I'm not sure. I guess if he had a cell phone, it was off, or he got rid of it. But I was going to say is he's probably heard, oh, they have the guy who thinks it's me, and fed on that. Just say, okay, now I have some time, take a deep breath. I quote, I can go ahead now and, head another way. If it's off, it can't be tracked. Thank you. If it's off, yeah, that's what I thought. So if the phone's off, if you had a phone and it's off, or he probably got rid of it, right? But thank you. Lemon J says if the cell phone is off position, they can still track you. Yeah, see, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure on that. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. I would think, he probably, the way it's leading right now, this guy probably dished it, probably got rid of it. Maybe he never even had it on him, If you think about it, he probably never even had it. So, now again, if you're just coming in, this could be a little bit of luck. Right now it's his lucky, lucky, or it could have been he planned it all out. It certainly looked like a target on Brown University, and he probably went there a couple days before, just for conversation, maybe a week before, and sketched it all out. And he knew exactly what he was going to do. They're always hoping, these sickos, that they do more harm. Thank God, and made 2 of them, these young students, rest in peace, and our biggest prayers and thoughts with the family. But and 8 or 9 were in the hospital. 1 was released, maybe 2. But they're hoping they can do more. They're hoping they can take out as many as they could, and they do as much as they can. And then they always seem to walk slowly, right? We've seen Luigi Mangione, but that was a whole different situation. That happened, they had more cameras in New York. Interesting, Lemon J, interesting, yeah. Yeah, I just don't know. I'm thinking about it. I know if it's on for sure, they can 100%. They can figure out where the person's at. But if it's off, they tracked. Let's see, the lawyer. They went to Walmart with no phone and paid cash. Explain that one. They can't track it. User. GS. They can't track it. Okay. Yeah. So one of my moderators behind the scene. Hey, shout out to my moderator behind the scene. First name Aaron. Says once the phone is off, is a very difficult, complex to find out where they're at. Oh, interesting. Thank you, Aaron. So they can, but it takes more time. if the phone is off. Okay. But once again, there's a suspect, new suspect, in this gunman, Deadly Brown University shooting still at large, that's out on the loose. And according to the authorities, they don't know where he is. I say he because they're confident it's a man. 5'8", I believe. As far as his race, Caucasian, black, Hispanic, they don't know. And they're pretty confident. They said the public's okay, according to the panel, according to the police. Nothing to worry about because they believe he's not there. So, I don't know if that's the right thing to say, but hey, I'm not a police, and maybe they don't want to alarm the public, but at the same time, you got to let the public know that there is a chance he could be around. So, let's see here. Read some more comments here. Reading your comment, Whiskey Tango. Also read the user GS. I read your comment. If I miss any of your comments, guys, comments come in pretty rapidly, and I'm pulling out some here on here. Now, if you're just coming in late, thank you for being here. First of all, thank you so much. Crazy weekend all over the world. Australia, Providence, and LA. And then Rob Reiner, director, filmmaker, was also gunned down by his son and his wife at their home. Son being on some kind of drugs, in and out of rehab, and took out his own father and mother. It's hard for me to even say that, you know, particularly after losing my mom, you know, as of late. And to a lot of people on here probably say, well, I have bad times with my parents. And I'm not going to be here to say make up for them or forgive, but to first of all, to take out anybody, a human being, is just nuts. And you think on how the hell we can't do more to figure out what triggers that in the mind. But that's a whole nother topic that we won't get into. But it's sad to see that. But that's what drugs do and addictions do. Light switches, welcome in. Thank you for being here. MAGA. Fred, thank you for being here. Jenny, how are you, Jenny? I try to get the most comments, guys. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing. Appreciate it. Jerry, how are you? Good to see you. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to all. Sorry, Meathead is no more. And for Meathead, he was that was Rob Reiner, who played the part Meathead in All in the Family. Just for YouTube, and anybody out there thinks that somebody's that was his name as an actor in All in the Family. Meathead. So I just want to say hi to Stacy. Thank you for saying hi, Stacy. Who's the next president going to be? Who the hell knows? You know? Who the hell knows right now? I got to tell you, I was going to make this political tonight, and I'm not. I got a lot of conservative, I'm just saying, conservative friends, MAGA. I got a lot of conservative friends, business owners, that I talked to today, and they're worried about the economy. I'm just putting it out there. Should they be worried about the economy? Yes or no? Hey, shout out to Whiskey Tango, sending a high five and a donation. High five, fist bump, who's always helping these live streams out. It's not unnoticed. Thank you so much for all the donations, all the memberships. We appreciate the memberships. Now, on this channel, Will, how are you? We're able to forward that and help out the homeless. That's what we do. You know, that's what I do every single day. Help out the less fortunate, whether they're Democrats, Republicans, black or white or gay or Hispanic or illegal. We'll help them out and give them a helping hand. So thank you for all the donations, and like and subscribing. Appreciate it. All right. Shout out to Brazil and anybody else who's coming in from anywhere else in the country. Jenny, amen to that comment. Salute, amen. Great comment. fighting a little cold here, so bear with me a little bit. Trump 28. Hello, Stinky. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Blue Sky 777/2.0. Hello. John, what's going on in Oklahoma? We got a lot of people here, John, in Oklahoma and Vegas for the rodeo. A lot of great people for the rodeo here that's being held in the South Point Casino. Rodeo, big rodeo here. The economy is fine and getting better. Must watch the Democrat politicians who want to destroy the country. Comment from Jerry. Thank you, Jerry. Need to hear that. Getting a little worried from some of my clients and some of my closest friends that are conservatives that hold businesses. They're all getting a little worried. And a lot of them are, being honest, I'm not just saying this, what you see is what you get on here. Yes, I'm a Trump supporter, and I believe we're still in the right direction. But a lot of people are a little worried on how we're heading into the next quarter next year because it's affecting their wallets and their purse and everything else. And I'm regarding to the price of groceries and beef, cigars, and that kind of stuff. So, we'll talk about that more tomorrow, the next live stream. Baby oil will go down. Did you go to any island too? No. Puerto Rico, yeah. All in the Family show. Great show in the 70s. For those who are young, I highly recommend on the Christmas break to watch All in the Family. Great show. Funny. Thank you, PS1. Snape. Thank you. I just speak what's on my mind. Doesn't mean I don't support the president. I don't have trust in him. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing from some conservatives, mega supporters as of now, today, yesterday. They're worried a little bit about the economy. Barbara, shout out to Barbara, Floating Heart. Thank you. Thank you. Once again, we appreciate the donations. Palon, thank you so much. Thank you. Try. Mark Anthony says, what are you hearing is wrong then? Mark, well, thank you for the comment. I appreciate you. I appreciate your support and listening and comment. I really do. First of all, most of all. Just that they're worried a little bit about the tariffs. To be honest with everybody, on how high Trump went, some of the business owners that I'm talking to, not included, are worried about, did Trump have to go as high, and the supplies that they're getting for, like, where's my cigar? No cigar tonight. My wife says one cigar. Cigars, just certain, my architect client, getting his supplies from Germany, it's costing him more money, things like that. They're worried about. So they're worried about, where we're heading. And, when it's affecting people that are making $150,000 or more, and God bless them, because they're hard workers, then that worries me a little bit. But I'm still behind Trump, he's still my president, but I'm just giving you, to be honest, and I agree a little bit. We'll have to see on how it all works out. All right, let's continue with the chat. Look, on both sides, what we really want, you got Republicans, Democrats, far left that are, and then you have someone, at the end of the day, we have all our problems, and first of all, our health and family, but then we got to worry about things that can break in the house, a car breaking down, this, that, whatever. At the end of the day, what the people want, and that's why Trump won, is caring about our pockets. Of course, safer borders, we talk about it, and here I am making this political tonight, but reality is reality. And when our pocket is less, then we have a little worry about. And that's just being honest. All right. Yeah. Ralph. What's that? Ralph X731. Thank you for your comment. Good comment. Let's see here. We got my favorite gay channel again. Let's Go Girls. I don't mind funny comments, but, just be careful with some of the spam. Let's see here. But kind of funny. Joe Biden, the biggest joke done to us by Democrats. That's from Donald. Yeah. By the way, Biden was at the Philadelphia Eagles game, my Philadelphia Eagles games. He was there. He was booed a little bit. Tony, 1933 says hi. Appreciate. Hey, I want to say thank you for the moderators for being here. Crystal and Lemon J and Mike M. If I missed any of the moderators, I apologize, but those I've seen, so thank you for making this channel a much better channel. Thank you. All right. He was sleeping. Absolutely. Are you a Trump supporter? I voted for him for 3 times. I got the flag behind me. Can you see the flag? I'm just telling you what I'm hearing from people that voted for him 3 times. All righty. Once again, if you're just coming in late, tragedy hits over the weekend in Australia. Tragedy hits Rob Reiner, who was in All in the Family and a director, and as well as this FBI sloppy job where they had the wrong man in custody, and a manhunt continues in Providence, Rhode Island. And people are worried about being outside as it's cold there, and worried about their future and their university going forward. Certainly other colleges, when they get back from the winter Christmas break, that this guy is out there. Manhunt. $50,000 reward if you turn in and lead the authorities to this man. If you know where he's at and you're in Providence or anywhere else, don't be afraid. Be anonymous. They'll find you and give you the money, you hope, and turn this piece of shit in to the authorities, because nobody should go into anywhere, let alone a university that was in a final exam, and take out 2 innocent students, and 8 or 9 to be exact, who were injured. Several were critical. We pray for them, and that's what we're discussing tonight. There's James. Welcome in, James. A lot of sick people out there. Yes, we got to do more to prevent with mental illness. Absolutely. Sick people. All we can hope for is it gets better. It gets better. What's your thoughts on Change 28? Forget about it. Forget about it, Tony. But yeah, I can't, if anybody in the chat can remember, but maybe my memory's drawing a blank. For me, I can't remember a school shooting or any kind of mass shooting where they had the wrong suspect for that length of time all Sunday and going on for 3 days now, and they don't have a suspect. And to follow up what I just said, like somebody said in the chat earlier, I think it was Tony or Mark Anthony, I believe, if I remember right, license plates, if there was a car. And I'm saying no more video surveillance and cell phones. That's bizarre to me on the Providence and Brown University. Someone says, oh, it is going to get better. I promise. And the rest of the comment, I think I cut your comment off. Democrats are the violent ones. Stacy, go Birds. We finally won a game. We got back. Somebody's hiding him. You know, Ralph X7311. Very well could be, Ralph. Somebody could be hiding him somewhere, in their home, Maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a girlfriend, or maybe it's a boyfriend, maybe it's somebody, who knows? Could be, though. Yeah. Yeah, Chargers looking okay so far. Shout out to Mark. So yeah, he could be somewhere around that area. Summer 619. Yes, I am. I don't think it's going to come out of Israel. Man, I love cats. Man, I love cats. I don't think it's going to come out of Israel. But we have it right here with these crazy people doing these crazy murders, killing their own parents. It is crazy on the tragedy we had over the weekend. I still think it was a target. I think this was a target on the university. And I'm just saying, I heard this today, very well could be, just me, I'm saying this, could have been a teacher who worked there. I'm sure the authorities are looking at it. Maybe was let go, or maybe he resigned, or whatever. And could have came back. Could be, because it looks like, well, it's hard to say, but, could be an older person. They'll get this person. The problem is, before anybody else gets hurt, injured, or even worse. Once again, thank you for being here. All different kind of comments on this Monday. Work week Monday, as we're getting closer to Christmas. Meathead's death was not political. No. It was not. It was his son. It's official. His son's in custody. Will be facing, he'll never see the daylight again. And it's a shame. All family loses, He had two other, if somebody wants to look it up, I think he had another son and a daughter. Imagine on how they feel right now when a relatives, in this case, a son on Rob Reiner, was taken out by one of his sons. Imagine that. You're a brother or sister. I believe it was another two siblings, and they got to go on now and bury their parents, and their brother is in custody for murder of the two parents. I mean, bad. Not good. Drug user is often used as a scapegoat. Yeah, Lemon Jake, thank you. One of my, somebody said that to me today. Exactly. But Rob Reiner, apparently by the sources and family members, they try to help him out. He's been in and out of drug rehab, the son of Rob Reiner, and he got help, he got clean, he got better, whatever, and then took a turn for the worse. Some of the news outlets are saying from some of the neighbors and other relatives that they had an ongoing dispute, arguing probably over finances and money, I'm sure, right? Most of the time it's over fuzzles and money, most of the time, or an affair. In this case, probably money and drugs. In the system, can do these horrible things to your mom and dad. Terrible. But they had ongoing disputes, and now the whole family suffers. The whole family. And this all happened last night, and when the press conference opened up, they said, no, it's not the son. And I was being hard on them, but they probably should never had that press conference, and now they find out today. People's Magazine, as Lemon J alluded to last night, thank you for being here. It was the son. For those who are saying hi, hello, appreciate and welcome in. Happy Monday. Some places it might be Tuesday, so Monday or Tuesday. Once again, I am Sal, and we are discussing 3 terrible incidents. 1 was in Australia, 2 in the United States, opposite part of the world and states, 1 in LA and 1 in Providence, mass shooting, and 1 is on the loose and could be very close by, hiding out, or it could be in another state, and locals and local people that live there are scared. However, local officials are saying, nothing to worry about. We had the wrong guy. We apologize. We will get the right guy, but it's nothing to worry about. He's probably not even there. Well, they didn't say he's not there. That's me. But, and it could mean they have evidence that they don't want to tell us, right? Could be. I know that. And they know for sure he's not there, but they know he's somewhere else, like New York or Philadelphia or Boston. Don't know. Could be just their job. And now they're being very careful, right? But I still think it's sloppy. And be free to disagree. I have no problem with it, but I still think it's sloppy. All right. What we got here? 1960, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Thank you, Trump, for fighting for drug cartels. Amen to that. And I think that goes for most people. We're probably going to be talking about that later on in the week, actually. What's going on in Venezuela. Carmen, how are you? Good to see you, Carmen. Appreciate all your comments, each and every one of you on this Monday. Hope everybody's doing well, staying safe. Take your time out there. If you're having Christmas shop, you better do it. I'm old-fashioned. I go in person. I don't go online. Let's see here. The powder has gotten worse since Trump took office. Well, thank you for your comment. I disagree. Frank, what's going on, Frank? Good to see you, my friend. Como se gan? Monteban, how are you? Let's see here. Dread 333. What's happening, my friend? Good to see you. Thank you for your support. What the hell is that kind of? I don't even know. Chris Berry, what is that? What the hell are you eating or smoking or whatever? Kind of funny. Okay. But once again, guys, it's weird on how all these tragedies happen like within a couple days apart, you know? Crazy what's going on in the world. All the way from Australia to LA to Providence. Thank you. Thank you for letting us know you're new. Appreciate you. Thank you. Stacy, have a good night. Vancouver, Canada. What's going on? John J. Allen, how are you, my friend? Thank you for your comment. Let us know. I don't know what you want to say about the Israel. We hear so much about that. Appreciate you I appreciate everybody subscribing and liking. Only if you enjoy the content. Make sure you show other YouTube some love, and the ones that you like, and hit the like once in a while for them. I'm sure they appreciate it. Once again, we're covering 3 stories. The most important right now, though, is a manhunt is out in Providence in this hour. And they have not found the real person who did this horrific mass shooting that happened on, Saturday. Yeah, Maribel, I think she's probably watching another YouTube channel. What do you want from me? Coney Island in Washington State. She's in there with her parrots. All right. Dan Bongino is set to resign. He's had it with Pam Bondi's nonsense. John J. Yeah, John, I heard that report a little bit. There have been some conflicts. I know everything looked good a couple days ago. Lemon J 80 likes. Thanks for reminding me. I really appreciate it. I mean that. Thank you. I look up and thank you, and you're part of that. I heard that report, John. Dan Bongino and Pam Bondi is not on good terms. I'm not smoking, and they can confess to that. Smoking cigar, that is. All right. Pam Bondi is a puppet. Interesting. Maybe. Probably. Frank, have a good night. She could be a puppet. We'll see on how it all folds out in the next quarter. Will she be with the cabinet and not? I mean, she did redeem herself a little bit, you know. We'll see. Vaping. Whatever you enjoy. Who am I to say yes, you can't? No, you can't. Whatever you do. Common sense, you know. Do you smoke? Yes, cigars once in a while. My wife, you heard her in the back. You smoking another one? So, got to cut back. Smoking too many cigars. Dustin, what's going on? I smell it. That's a big comment there to answer in a different. It's a Ashton VSG or Camacho. Those two are my favorite. Ashton VSG or Camacho. Any Camacho. Albie, thank you. Backwoods is great. Yes. Army dog. What are you cooking now? What are you cooking? I'm from South Jersey and South Philly area. Ardell, what's happening, Ardell? Good to see you, my friend. All right, I'm going to pull a couple more comments here, guys, on this Monday. Once again, for coming in real late here, we're covering the Providence manhunt. Is actually, let me just do this. I want to see if there's any updated news that on the manhunt. But yes, I'm in Las Vegas. Thank you, Lemon. I live in Las Vegas now. Thank you. I'm going to see if there's any updated information. We'll scan the channels and see on this manhunt. Manhunt suspect is at large, as they had the wrong suspect on Sunday in Providence, Rhode Island, in the mass shooting. Let's see if we can find anything.
In 10 minutes, you can be covered with life insurance.
Check your price today at ethos.com.
Let's see what we got here. Give me 1 second, guys. Hard at nighttime to capture somebody.
Fantasy is also approved for ulcerative colitis.
Hello, my friend. Buddy. I just gave one of my callers a hard time, which wasn't. That's not my point. I don't want to yell at anybody, but it can't be that unless I say everything in the most.
Give me a second, guys. I'm going to look one more time and see if there's anything out there on any more clues in this mass shooting over the weekend or on Saturday. Excuse me. Let's see if we can find anything. What is that?
Tamale.
Oh, thank you. Here.
There's a hot. You have hot peppers inside. Be careful. She almost burned tamale because after it's done, she don't want to go.
All right. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see what we got here. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Let's see what we got here. Oh, this is 1 hour ago. Hold on.
First at 10:30, invest.
Let's see what we got. Let's see what they got to say. This is about an hour ago.
Life moves fast. But
thank you.
Freddy's hits. You can't help but slow down.
First at 10:30, investigators continue to search for clues that could help them identify a suspect in Saturday's shooting at Brown University, which killed 2 students and injured 9 others. Thank you for joining us.
This is local news in Providence.
I'm Shannon Heggie. Today, authorities shared new videos and pictures of a person of interest. Here's what we know. Those videos and pictures released in a news
here you go.
earlier this evening show the person of interest from multiple angles.
All right. Hold on. Let's back up. I seen this earlier, but this is pretty...
This is the same person of interest in the video police first shared.
All right, that's a little clearer, right? Guys, a little clearer. I don't mean clear on my TV, but clear. He looks a little chubby. By the way, there's nothing wrong being chubby. But let's see.
The aftermath of the shooting.
Oh, what we got here? Now, it looks like he's got a little stomach on him. You know, it's hard to tell you. He could be Caucasian. He could be, I don't know. It's very difficult. Now, we're just looking through what we see here. But, you know, the authorities, I'm sure they can zoom in on his, I guess you could probably see some eyes there. A little stomach, yeah. I'm going to have a little stomach when I get done eating this tamale here. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with a little stomach, particularly around the holidays. Let's go back. Let's see. Let's go back a little bit.
Conference earlier this evening show the...
Okay, right there. Wow, beautiful home. That's a beautiful home. So right there, that might be coming from that home, I'm thinking, or we don't see the home. Maybe the home that's facing us. I don't know. I mean, look how nonchalant. Somebody says a white boy walk. Whatever a white boy walk is. What is an Italian walk? Can anybody tell me what an Italian walk is? But anyhow, that's something. So that's a Ring. Yeah, that's a Ring doorbell. All right, I'll play the whole thing.
Of interest from multiple angles. This is the same person of interest in the video.
Yeah, a little chubby.
First shared in the aftermath of the shooting, but that video only showed his back.
See how he's looking back?
The FBI is now offering a $50,000 reward for any information, and police are still asking for more video, pictures, and information. The tip line is on your screen.
We have team coverage for you today. Lauren Brill is learning more about the students killed and the survivors.
But first, let's get to Kayla Fish live outside the Providence Public.
999 LSD OCD. Italian walk is more like a... Absolutely. That is certainly an Italian walk. You want to see it? All right, let's listen.
Safety complex with the latest on the investigation to find the gunman. Kayla?
Let's see what she's got to say.
Well, Shannon and Mike, police do not yet have the suspect, the shooter, in custody, which of course has created a lot of
new video, Whiskey Tango,
among people who live in this city and really all of Rhode Island. But investigators believe that new video, which we will show you again in just a moment, will help them track down the suspect. Now, at this hour, right behind me, there are people inside the Providence Public Safety Complex who are answering the tip line that police have put out to try to gather details to help them find this suspected shooter. Providence police providing the clearest look yet at the suspected gunman who killed 2 people and hurt 9 more at Brown University Saturday.
And the sooner we can identify that person, the sooner we can, I think, blow this case over.
The video and pictures showing the suspect's face for the first time, covered in what looked like a black medical mask. The chilling footage is from the areas of Cook, Manning, Hope, and Benevolent Streets, taken at about 2 p.m. Saturday, hours before the first 911 calls came in.
Oh, he's moving there.
Authorities described the man as 5'8" with a stocky build, believed to be armed and dangerous. Investigators say he targeted Brown University specifically and used a 9mm handgun in the shooting, firing off several rounds. The FBI offering a $50,000 reward for any information leading to an arrest or conviction.
No amount of information is too small or irrelevant.
Investigators returned to the area around the shooting today, scouring bushes and the snowy ground.
Manhunt! Snow!
Federal went door to door at homes and businesses looking for surveillance video as police increased their presence not only in Providence but at schools around the state.
We're serious about having people
That's a governor there.
feel safe
Providence Mayor Brett Smiley says the tragedy is starting to become very real for the community.
We're all 2 degrees of separation from one another. It's starting to get very personal for our community, which is hard. And that's, I think, where we are sort of emotionally in the process. But we're here for one another.
Summer, she has
Authorities have not scheduled any
Latino
additional
accent.
briefings for new information tonight unless they get some sort of significant development in this case. In the meantime, my colleague Lauren Brill has been working to find out more information about the victims in this campus tragedy. She's live at Brown University's campus, continuing our coverage. Lauren.
Well, Kayla, the campus
God bless
has
everybody.
been quiet tonight, but we've seen groups of students stopping by this memorial here, taking time to pay their respects. Among a sea of candles and flowers, photos of the victims in the Brown University deadly shooting. Eno Thompson Tribe says his friend is among the 2 killed, freshman Muhammad Aziz Umarzakar.
May they rest in peace.
He really cared about supporting his friends and being there for
Very
them.
sad.
And there's heavy hearts across the country. Senators Jack Reed and Sheldon Whitehouse asking the United States Senate to hold a moment of silence. Senator Katie Britt says one of the victims,
Thank you,
sophomore
Lemon
Ella
J.
Kirk, was from Alabama.
It is clear that she made an impact, that her time on earth was such a positive force for good, that the ripple of her life will be felt for generations to come.
Those injured in this deadly shooting are still recovering.
Mike, thanks for being here still. Appreciate you, my friend.
He says his grandson, Jacob Spears,
Merry
was
Christmas
just
to you
days
and your
away from
family.
coming home to Georgia. Now he's in intensive care after undergoing surgery.
Wow.
Roger praised the staff at Rhode Island Hospital.
Hopefully you make it out
calling this
good.
First-class medical care. Meanwhile, Durham Academy, a private school in Durham, North Carolina, says one of their alumni is among the survivors. President Michael Ulku Steiner says Kendall Turner was wounded, and her family has informed him that she is in critical but stable condition. Writing in a statement, quote, "Our thoughts and prayers are with Kendall, her family, and all members."
I'm going to go back one last time, folks, for those who maybe missed it or chatting or just coming on. We're going to go back one last time of this new
Providing the clearest look yet at the suspected gunman who killed 2 people and hurt 9 more at Brown University Saturday.
And the sooner we can identify that person, the sooner we can, I think, blow.
I just want to see the look one more time. Heavier guy.
Covered in what looks like a black medical mask. The chilling footage is from the areas of Cook, Manning, Hope, and Benevolent Streets, taken at about 2 p.m. Saturday, hours before the first 911 calls came in.
Now there he's moving.
Authorities describe the man as 5'8" with a stocky build, believed to be
5'8", stocky build. See how he was moving? He was moving. Interesting, because that's new. Pardon me, guys. I just got done. I didn't want to eat in front of the camera. As you can all laugh. I know there's a napkin there. So I apologize. He's 5'8" and stocky. And he started to move a little quicker. And did you all notice? God bless you, Carmen. God bless each and every one of you. When he looked back, he's walking, and he goes, and he looks back. So, very methodical, very careful. He didn't run. He looked back, Mark Anthony. He looked back. And, it looks like the mask is down. So they have his eye color and his... We see that there? I know it's hard for us to make it out, but, they zoom in on these guys. They have all that tech, they can zoom in. Look at this guy. The question is he in the area? Yes or no? Is he in this area? Because they're confident it's a man. Or he's gone. He's gone over to the next state or city, somewhere. I think he's around that area. Probably within 5 miles away. Ray Ramos says, yes, I think he's in this area, even though the authorities are saying nothing to worry about. They'll catch this piece of shit. They'll get him. Yeah, this is new. I haven't seen all this. So this was about an hour ago from local news, WPRI 12. I guess that's in Providence. I'm assuming that's a local news station there. And we'll go ahead and take one final look on this live.
Armed and dangerous.
Armed and
Investigators
dangerous.
say he targeted Brown University.
See, he's looking back. He's looking back.
Specifically and used a 9mm handgun in the shooting, firing off several rounds. The FBI
You know
offering
what?
a $50,000 reward for
Mark
any
Anthony, honest to goodness, but thank you. You beat me to it. Yeah, he could be wearing a bulletproof. He might be. Still looks a little chubby. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. But you're right. Could be wearing a bulletproof vest. I'll go back. I know I said last time, but I'll go back just a second.
Investigators say he targeted Brown University specifically and used a 9mm handgun in the shooting, firing off several rounds. The FBI offering a $50,000 reward for any information leading to an arrest or conviction.
Well, those in Rhode Island, there's a $50,000 reward if you know that guy.
Investigators returned to the area around the shooting today, scouring bushes and the snowy ground for clues. Federal agents.
You know what gets me, guys? Am I being? You can call me out on this. They're using their feet. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm being really hard. I probably am. I'm being hard. But they're using their feet. I know it's cold, but do your job. Get a shovel.
Too small.
Do you see that, guys, in the snow?
Investigators returned to the area around.
They're using their feet. Are you kidding me? I guess I'm being hard. My wife says, yeah. But get down there. Get your hands dirty. Get the shovel. Better yet, get a snow plow or something and plow all that snow in one big pile. I mean, I feel like sometimes I using their feet.
The shooting today, scouring bushes.
A bunch of princesses. Yeah, I mean.
On the snowy ground for clues. Federal agents went door to
I don't know. I guess I'm being a little hard. It's getting late, guys. I just don't. For me, you're getting paid. I'd get down there. You know, I'd get down there, gloves on. You know, I'd have it all set up. The best of the best. Clearing that out. Or a plow. Plowing that up in one big plow of snow. And then have my search team, the best of the best. Going through all that, you know. Eye in the sky, have all that. I wouldn't be using my shoes. It looks like I had shoes on, or snow boots on. But maybe it's just late for me and I'm being real hard. What's your thoughts? Yes, I do gamble a little bit. Summer 619. Parents turned the wrong guy in. Oh, is that what happened? I'm proud to be an American. So am I. I always say my family's from Italy, but nothing better than the United States of America. I feel very bad. Yes, very bad. Yes, I'm Catholic. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say, I'm going to give everybody about 3 minutes for those who are interacting with on the chat. I always like to say 2-3 minutes to say their good nights. It's getting kind of late here. I don't think we're going to have any more. That was the latest of the latest. If anything breaks, I don't know if it's going to break tonight. It's late. Maybe. Be sure to have all your notifications on. Thank you, Ralph. Make sure you have all notifications on here or the channels that you watch. Someone will be talking about it. I'm confident they're going to catch them. The question is, will it be tomorrow or the next day? And the longer it gets, the more difficult it can be in this search. So thank you so much. Again, 5'8", could have a bulletproof vest, maybe. Looked like a little hefty guy. Hard to say what age. Some say he walks like a white guy. We don't know. At the same token, I think they know a lot more. And they'll get them. All right, so thank you guys. I appreciate it. Moderators, thank you. We got the 94 likes, not quite 100. If you haven't subscribed, on behalf of all of us on here, to continue doing these lives and most importantly, help out the homeless people here, we appreciate it. If you haven't liked now, like when you get a chance. Thank you so much. Looks like, I was going to say that, Trevor. I was going to say 40 years old, but, the walk, if you've been around for a while, and I'm sure they have that age. And hopefully the FBI does better and gets this guy. Have a good night, guys. God bless you and your family. If I don't see you tomorrow, the rest of the week, have a great weekend. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy holidays to everybody on here. Be safe. And if anybody's in that area, $50,000 reward. But most importantly, get this creep off the streets. Good night, everybody. I'm out. God bless. See ya. Woo, my mouth is on fire. A little tamale with hot pepper. I normally don't eat on the lives. I apologize. Take care, guys. I'm out.